Story 1. The Garage. Jeff Bezos stood in the middle of a half-empty garage, staring at a pile of computer parts. Outside, rain poured down, droplets drumming against the rusty roof. In the corner lay 3 wooden doors. Tomorrow, they would be turned into desks. "Jeff, are you sure?" Mackenzie adjusted her glasses. "We just bought this house." He turned to her, flashing his trademark smile, the same one business gurus would later try to copy. "Imagine, in 10 years, people will buy books without leaving home. No lines, no stores. Just a click, and the package arrives at their door the next day." "But you're a vice president at Shaw. $250,000 a year. In 5 years, it'll be millions," he jabbed a finger in the air. "The internet is growing like crazy. If not now, we'll miss it." She sighed, but was already pulling out a notepad. Mackenzie always kept their budget. Blank, underscore, blank. The first servers buzzed loudly, heating the garage to 86 degrees Fahrenheit even in winter. Bezos named the company Cadabra, like a magic spell. But the lawyer misheard it as cadaver, corpse. "Damn it." Jeff crumpled the paper. "We need something huge. Like Neil." "Amazon," Mackenzie suddenly said. "The biggest river in the world." And so, Amazon was born. Blank, underscore, blank. July 16, 1995. First sale. "Yo ho ho!" Programmer Shell yelled. California. Fluid concepts and creative analogies. Bezos grabbed the book like a sacred artifact. "We'll pack it ourselves." With a note. They sat on the floor, book covers scratching their knees. In the corner, the modem screeched 28.8 kilobits per second. Blank, underscore, blank, 1997. IPO. "Are you insane?" A journalist jabbed at the loss table. Amazon.bomb. Bezos simply placed that very first book on the table. "See? In 20 years, people will buy everything from us. Even things that haven't been invented yet." Blank, underscore, blank. Today, that garage is a museum. But Jeff left one thing behind. A door desk with the inscription Day 1, because greatness always starts in a garage. With a couple of computers. With a crazy idea. And with a wife who believes. Story 2. Why Amazon almost went bankrupt in the 2000s. Black Thursday, 2001. Amazon's Seattle office. Jeff Bezos stared at the screen. The company's stock had plummeted to $6. In 1999, it was worth $113. "Boss," the CFO's voice trembled, "we're losing $1 million a day. The Wall Street Journal says we have 3 months left." Rain poured outside. Somewhere in the same building, 5,000 employees were quietly panicking. "All right," Jeff turned to the whiteboard. "What do we have in reserve?" "AWS, the CTO said hesitantly. "But it's just an internal service for our own needs." "It's the future. Blank, underscore, blank, 2002. The Underground Project. A team of 10 worked in the basement. Codename, Mercury." "You're suggesting we lease our infrastructure to competitors?" The VP of Retail clenched his fists. "That's insane!" "No!" Bezos cracked an egg on the edge of the table. "It's like electricity. In the 1900s, every factory had its own dynamo. Now everyone plugs into the grid." On the board was a diagram. Amazon Web Services, electricity for the internet. Blank, underscore, blank, March 14, 2006. Launch. AWS's first clients were startups. Then came Netflix, NASA, the CIA. "Boss," the CFO pointed at the chart. "AWS is bringing in $0. "But the servers are eating." "Invest more." Jeff pushed the report aside. Blank, underscore, blank, 2015. The same CFO burst in with a newspaper. "AWS, $6 billion in revenue." Bezos smiled. "Remember Amazon.bomb? Now we're Amazon.boom." Epilogue. Today, AWS generates 80% of Amazon's profit. And those $6 stocks? They're now worth $3,500. Blank, underscore, blank. Scandal. How National Enquirer blackmailed Bezos, February 7, 2019. Los Angeles. Jeff froze with the phone to his ear. The voice on the other end was icy. "We have your intimate selfies, mister." Bezos, $10 million, and no one sees them. Outside, the lights of Beverly Hills glowed. Somewhere in those same hills lived his mistress, Lauren Sanchez. "I'll think about it," he said, and hit record. Blank, underscore, blank, the investigation. "This isn't just blackmail," his CIA detective whispered. "Inquirer is owned by a Trump ally. They want to hit Amazon." Bezos flipped through the dossier. Turns out Lauren's brother had sold their texts for $200,000. "Idiots," Jeff suddenly laughed. "They think I'm scared of a naked ass?" Blank, underscore, blank, February 9th. The counter move. Instead of a $10 million check, the world saw a Medium post. "National Enquirer is demanding money for my photos." Instead, I'm publishing their threats. Game on! The scandal blew up the internet. Enquirer stock crashed. Man, blank, underscore, blank, the divorced Mackenzie, stood by the window of their mansion. "You fly rockets but couldn't save our marriage," she turned. "Fine. Give me 4% of Amazon, and we're even." He nodded. A month later, she became the world's third richest woman, but didn't sell a single share to avoid tanking the market. Finale, Bezos saved Amazon. Enquirer went bankrupt. And his new relationship with Lauren became a meme. Story 3. The Desert Test, Texas Desert. March 15, 2003. 2:47 p.m. The Jeep Wrangler bounced over the rough dirt road, kicking up clouds of rust-colored dust. Bezos, in a simple flannel shirt and hiking boots, tightened his grip on the wheel. He loved these trips to the ranch, the only place where he could forget about shareholders, quarterly reports, and endless meetings for a few hours. Damn, where's that turn? He squinted, trying to spot the familiar stone marker among the scorched grass. At that moment, the front wheel suddenly dropped into an invisible rut. Yes, blank, underscore, blank. A minute later, consciousness returned, along with a sharp pain in his left arm. The Jeep lay on its side, the windshield a spiderweb of cracks. From the radio came the raspy twang of country music. "Finger!" "Broken," he assessed, examining the unnaturally bent index finger. Blood slowly seeped into his sleeve. His father's words came back to him. "In the desert, the main thing is not to panic. It kills faster than thirst." Blank, underscore, blank, flashback. 1974, 10-year-old Jeff and his father were fixing an old tractor on his grandfather's ranch. "Dad, what would you do if you broke down in the middle of the desert?" "First I'd drink some water," Mike Bezos smiled. "Then count to 100. And only then start thinking." That wisdom was now worth more than all his billions. Blank, underscore, blank, 4:20 p.m. 3 hours after the crash, he walked along a dry riverbed, cradling his broken finger against his chest. His pocket held an empty canteen. Above, the merciless Texas sun. In his head, an obsessive rhythm. Don't fall. Don't fall. Don't fall. Suddenly, a silhouette appeared in the distance. An old farmer in a rusty pickup stopped when he saw the bloodied stranger. "Hey, partner. You alive?" Bezos tried to smile. "Depends on your definition of alive." Blank, underscore, blank, Van Horn Hospital. Evening. "You're incredibly lucky, Mr. Bezos," the doctor said, applying the cast. "Dehydration, a fracture, but you might not have made it." Jeff stared out the window, where the sunset painted the desert blood red. His phone buzzed in his pocket, probably a worried Mackenzie or frantic assistance. But he wasn't in a hurry to answer. So this is what it feels like to be helpless, he thought. The last time he'd felt this way was in that very garage, when service kept crashing and there was no money for new ones. Blank, underscore, blank, epilogue, 2021. On the desk in his Blue Origin office sits a strange souvenir, a piece of rusted metal from that Texas road. The plaque reads, "Immunity to stupidity, $0. A desert lesson. Priceless." When engineers ask why he keeps this junk, Bezos shrugs. To remember that we're all just human, even if we fly to space. P.S. Rumor has it that after this incident, all of Bezos' cars were outfitted with satellite beacons. But he never sold that old Wrangler, just parked it in the very garage where Amazon began. Story 4. Blue Flames. How Bezos lost the space race but won the future, July 20th, 2021. West Texas desert Jeff Bezos was fastening his spacesuit when an engineer nervously cleared his throat. "Sir, Virgin Galactic just. They've already flown. Branson beat us by 9 days." The garage billionaire clenched his fists. His new Shepard stood on the launch pad, gleaming in the morning sun, while Richard Branson was already posting weightlessness videos on social media. Blank, underscore, blank, flashback, 2000. Secret hangar. You want to build what? The lead engineer dropped the blueprints. A rocket. Bezos poured whiskey into glasses. One that can launch again and again. Like an airplane. He named the project Blue Origin, after the blue planet. The first test happened at night, deep in the Texas wilderness. When their rocket first climbed 100 meters, Jeff exhaled. "Today, we jumped. Tomorrow, we'll fly. Blank, underscore, blank, 2013. Disaster. The roar of an explosion echoed across the desert. New Shepard became a fireball. Report." Now, Bezos didn't raise his voice, but his fingers dug into the armrests. The engineers trembled. Stabilization system failure. "Sir, maybe we pause the program?" Jeff stood up, stretching his back. "Order a new rocket. And add a backup system. Blank, underscore, blank, July 20th, 2021. 8:12 Coordinated Universal Time. The capsule carrying Bezos, his brother, 82-year-old aviation pioneer Wally Funk, and an 18-year-old student soared into the sky. At 107 kilometers altitude, Jeff unbuckled and tumbled in zero gravity. This, he pressed his palm to the window, staring at the blue edge of the atmosphere, is worth every billion. Blank, underscore, blank, epilogue 2024. Blue Origin lost the Who's First race. But when NASA chose a lunar lander for the Artemis program, the $3.4 billion contract went to Bezos. "We're not building for records," he said at the press conference. "We're building a road to the future. 1 millions will walk. And in the desert, that first burned-out New Shepard still stands, a monument to the fact that even the brightest explosions don't stop those who look to the stars." Story 5. The 10,000-year clock, how Bezos bought immortality. Sierra Diablo Mountains, Texas. February 20th, 2018. Bezos brushed dust off his boots as he examined the narrow tunnel boring deep into the mountain. An engineer in an orange helmet fidgeted with his flashlight. "Are you sure you want to see this, mister?" "Bezos? The work is still in progress." "Show me." Jeff stepped into the darkness. Somewhere ahead, drills hummed as they bored through rock. Blank, underscore, blank, flashback, 1997. Amazon office, a young Bezos flipped through a scientific journal. Danny Hillis's article. A clock that ticks for 10,000 years. Now that's vision. He leaned back in his chair, staring at the ceiling. Imagine, civilizations will rise and fall, and this clock will still be counting seconds. "Jeff, we're operating at a loss." The CFO tapped the financial report. "What clock?" But Bezos was already dialing Hillis's number. Blank, underscore, blank, 2008. First meeting. "You seriously want to build it inside a mountain?" Hillis turned a scale model of the mechanism in his hands. "Yes," Bezos sipped whiskey. "To reach it, you'd need to hike 5 days through the desert. No roads, no markers." "Why?" "So only the most determined could find it." They fell silent, listening to the ticking of a wall clock. Blank, underscore, blank, 2018. Depth, 150 meters. Bezos descended into the mountain's heart. Before him rose the massive mechanism, titanium gears, ceramic bearings, a pendulum as tall as a 5-story building. "It's powered by temperature changes," an engineer explained. "The mountain heats by day, cools by night. That'll keep it running for centuries." Jeff ran his hand over the cold metal. "What happens in 10,000 years? If humanity survives, someone will find it and know we believed in the future." Blank, underscore, blank, epilogue. Today, the clock of the long now ticks in total darkness. Once a year, it recalculates itself, adjusting its timekeeping by the stars. Bezos invested $42 million in the project. When asked why, he simply smiled. "Amazon will change the world for 20 years. This clock is my message to 10,000. Rumors say a capsule is hidden within the mechanism. Inside, a letter from Bezos. Only those alive in the year 12,018 will read it. Story 6. The Last Laugh. How Bezos outplayed everyone at his own farewell dinner. Seattle, July 5, 2021. 6:30 p.m. The elevator in Amazon's headquarters slowly ascended to the 37th floor. Bezos adjusted his tie in the mirror. Today, he was stepping down as CEO and had arranged a farewell dinner for top executives. "Are you sure you want to do this today?" His assistant clutched an iPad nervously. "Absolutely." Jeff pulled a small box from his pocket. Blank _ blank flashback. 1999. A young Bezos burst into the office waving a fresh issue of Fortune. "Look, they named me Person of the Year." Silence. Then a timid voice from marketing. Jeff, that's Photoshop. "Your face is on Bill Gates' cover." The entire floor erupted in laughter. Bezos flushed, then suddenly laughed himself. "Okay, that was a good joke. But mark my words, one day I'll return the favor. Blank _ blank 2021. Banquet hall. The dinner was in full swing. Wine, laughter, nostalgic speeches. Suddenly the lights dimmed. On screen, archival footage played. "Congratulations to Jeff Bezos on 25 years leading Amazon," a voiceover announced. The room gasped. The video showed a deepfake Bezos with gray hair and wrinkles, accepting an award in 2025. "What the?" someone began, then froze. The real Bezos was already standing by the screen with a remote. "Relax. It's a deepfake. Blank _ blank." The reveal, he flipped the lights back on, and every executive found before them a signature Bezos award for the logistics director, a toy truck labeled "Deliver in 24 hours," or "Return the Smile" for the CFO, a calculator with one button, "Sell" for the lawyer, a book titled "How I Lost to National Enquirer," autographed, but the grand prize awaited new CEO, Andy Jassy. "Congratulations." Bezos handed him the door from that very 1994 garage. "Now it's your turn. Blank _ blank epilogue." The next day, all of Seattle was talking about the dinner. Meanwhile, Bezos was already flying to Texas, toward his new obsession. Blue Origin is waiting. Time to build the road to space. P.S. Want to know what was in that box from the first paragraph? It was a long now clock, a miniature replica of his 10,000-year project. He left it in the new CEO's desk. The inscription on the lid: "When you return from space, come claim the original." Story 7. The Final Gift. How Bezos rewrote his will to the sound of rocket engines' Earth orbit. July 20th, 2021. 10:12 Coordinated Universal Time. The New Shepard capsule hovered at its apogee. Bezos pressed his forehead against the window. The blue planet below looked as fragile as a Christmas ornament. "Look," he whispered to his brother, pointing at the thin glowing line of atmosphere. Like someone outlined the planet with a pencil. At that moment, his spacesuit pocket vibrated. Even here, at 107 kilometers altitude, Blue Origin's satellite connection worked. The screen showed a lawyer's notification. Documents ready for signing. Blank _ blank flashback Seattle, 1998. Young Bezos sat at his door desk, examining Amazon's first $1 million check. "We'll make it more than just a company," he told Mackenzie as she fed their firstborn. "We're building a time machine." "What?" "Books are portals to other worlds. And technology," he pointed at the ceiling, "will one day be our portal to the stars." Mackenzie shook her head but smiled. She'd long grown accustomed to his wild metaphors. Blank _ blank 2021. 1 month before launch. "You're certain about these figures?" Amazon's lead attorney flipped through the document. $10 billion for climate. $2 billion for preschool education. And this is just the first tranche. Bezos gazed out the window at the Blue Origin lunar base mock-up. "When I was a boy, my grandfather taught me something important. Wealth isn't the numbers in your account. It's what you leave behind." He turned. "I want my grandchildren to breathe this air and dream of space like I did. Blank _ blank orbit." 10:15 Coordinated Universal Time. In zero gravity, ink pens failed, but Bezos had prepared a special tablet with a stylus waited in a sealed container. Signing, his voice came through the mic. The Bezos Earth Fund. Day 1 Fund. Teacher Preparation Program. Each signature was captured by camera flashes. History was being made. The first will signed in space. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Reveal. 2023. When journalists asked why he didn't leave everything to his children, Bezos produced a photograph. See this boy? Mean in 1968. Standing in a cornfield watching the lunar module on TV, he ran a finger over the worn image. My fortune isn't an inheritance. It's fuel for other boys and girls. So one day they can stand, not in a field, but on Mars. Blank, underscore, blank, epilogue. That signing tablet now hangs in the Blue Origin Museum, next to New Shepard's scorched hull. The screen shows the will's final page. Beneath the neat signature, a handwritten note. If you're reading this on Mars, my foundation operates there too. Story 8. A Billionaire's Toy, How Bezos Lost His Childhood and Found It Again. Albuquerque, 1968. Midnight, little Jeff pressed his forehead against the cold window pane. Beyond it stretched the Texas night, scattered stars and the glow of the gas station where his stepfather Miguel worked the night shift. In his hands, the boy clutched a broken toy, a plastic astronaut with its legs snapped off. Still awake? His pregnant mother sat on the edge of the bed. Let me see. She took the figure, pulled superglue from her apron, and deftly reattached the limb. See? Even broken things can be fixed. Jeff squeezed the toy tight. That night, he dreamed of stars. Blank, underscore, blank. Flashback, 2018. Secret auction. Lot number 317. Original Apollo 15 spacesuit worn by Dave Scott. Starting bid, $2 million. Bezos raised his paddle first. 10 minutes later, he exited to whispers. Why does he want that junk? The truck hauling his prize already held 12 other museum pieces, a fortune in space race artifacts. Where to, sir? Asked the driver. Hangar B. Bezos stroked the suit's glass case. There's a surprise waiting. Blank, underscore, blank, Blue Origin hangar. 3 days later, engineers crowded around an unusual display. The Apollo suit stood beside a child-sized mannequin, exactly the height of an 8-year-old. You want shrink a historic spacesuit? The technician couldn't believe his ears. Bezos pulled the plastic astronaut from his pocket, that same childhood toy. I want today's kids to touch the dream. Literally. Blank, underscore, blank, 2022. Houston School. 10 children in miniature but fully functional Mars-designed suits tumbled in a wind tunnel simulating lunar gravity. Bezos watched through the glass. Mr. Bezos, a 7-year-old girl approached. Is it true you didn't have toys? He produced the weathered plastic astronaut from his pocket. Just one. And you know what? Sometimes one toy is enough to build a rocket. Blank, underscore, blank, epilogue. When Blue Origin launched its Space for Schools program in 2023, every participant received 2 things. 1. A suborbital flight certificate, valid until their 18th birthday. 2. A plastic astronaut with detachable limbs to prove even broken dreams can be fixed. Each base was engraved. Dream without fear. JB. And that original Apollo suit now hangs in an Albuquerque school museum with a plaque for the next boy who stares at the stars.